Hello, Applied AI listeners. This is Justin Grammons, your host, and I'm very excited for this first episode of 2025 for us to look back on 2024 and use a tool that I have been using for a while called Notebook LM. And what I did here for this episode is I took the 5 most popular downloaded episodes from John Stanton, Kevin Liu, Lori Ryan, Rajeev Bukralia, and Tim Bornholt. And I took the transcripts from those and I fed them into this tool called Notebook LM. Now, if you're not familiar with Notebook LM, it allows you to essentially create your own agent, your own bot with your own custom documentation, right? So you can feed it your own knowledge base in and then ask it questions. And I've been playing around with this for many months. It came out, I think, over the summer here in 2024 and actually earlier, but they launched a thing during the fall time that allowed you to take all of your documents that the AI had learned about and create a podcast, basically a conversation between two hosts on the show. So what I did was I took these transcripts from these 5 most downloaded episodes from 2024, and I essentially just let it loose. Right? I let Notebook LM, I prompted very lightly. I said, make sure that we talk about each one of the guests, use their names, make sure we thank our sponsors. But other than that, I kind of just let it do what it's supposed to do, which is fascinating. It created a episode here that's about 15 minutes long or so, and it basically went through the most popular episodes here based on the transcripts and had a conversation with itself. So enjoy. I look forward to hearing from you if you like this or not. While I don't think that it's a replacement for what I do when I have conversations with people on the show, I definitely think it's a great way for us to start exploring AI, using a tool and creating essentially summarizations, right? And actually some of the voices in here I think are phenomenal. You'll hear what they sort of the intonations and the changes in the voice. It sounds very, very realistic. So without further ado, listen to Notebook LM have a conversation with itself about the 5 most downloaded episodes in 2024 on the Conversations on Applied AI podcast. Thanks.
All right, so you're ready to get into some applied AI. We're going deep on some of the most popular conversations from last year on Justin Grammons' Conversations on Applied AI podcast.
Yeah, he had some amazing guests talking about how AI is changing everything.
For sure.
It's pretty wild.
Like, we should start with John Stanton from Accord.
Oh, yeah.
They're a nonprofit, and they're using AI to help people with disabilities get access to services.
Makes those services a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah.
Way easier to understand.
Like, he had this story about building an app that makes all this complex social service information way easier to understand.
Like plain language, right? Plain language.
Taking all that legal jargon and making it something anybody can get.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. And then the thing that I thought was really fascinating is he was talking about how they're using AI to quantify social determinants of health.
Oh, interesting.
So like, those are things like housing and food security, those kind of things that are traditionally really hard to measure. But they're creating a scoring system within their app using AI.
Wow.
And so you can imagine having this score, right, and being able to provide personalized support and intervention based on that.
Tailored assistance, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really changes the game. Okay, so then there's Kevin Liu, associate professor at Ohio State University. He was talking about distributed learning and particularly federated learning and decentralized learning.
Oh, that's a cool area.
It's really interesting. So federated learning, like think of it as like you've got all these like thousands of mini AI brains all contributing to a larger model.
Right.
And he used the example of Google's Gboard.
Okay.
Like if the predictive text, as you're typing how it learns your habits, that's all happening on your device.
Oh, that's interesting.
So your phone is getting smarter without sending all of your data to Google.
Right.
It's like you're getting, your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
But then decentralized learning takes it even further.
Oh.
It's like, it gets rid of the need for a central server altogether.
Oh, okay.
So he was talking about how this is like really important for things like autonomous driving, where you've got all these cars that need to be able to learn from each other in real time.
Right.
So they don't have time to be like going back and forth to some like central brain.
Like a hive mind.
Yeah, like a hive mind for cars.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. And then he also talked about the challenge of training AI models on low-power devices.
Oh, okay.
Which like opens up this whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But like the potential is there to like really revolutionize AI and make it a lot more efficient and a lot more accessible.
Yeah, that's where it gets really exciting, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of making AI accessible, we have Lori Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
She created LoriIgnite.com, and she is all about demystifying AI.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, helping people understand AI, helping people embrace AI, and not be scared of it.
Yeah, it can be a little intimidating.
Like, what is it going to do to my job?
Exactly.
All of that.
And she really emphasizes that, like, AI is here to augment human capabilities. It's not about replacing us.
Right, right.
And, like, her own story is really inspiring. Like, she started a business using AI.
Oh.
And she talks about just, like, diving in and learning as you go,
That's cool.
which is, like, really inspiring. And what I thought was interesting is she talked about how she uses AI to streamline her work.
Oh, okay.
So she talked about, like, taking meeting transcripts and turning those into training documentation with the help of AI.
Oh, that's good.
So she's using AI to amplify her own effectiveness.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about the ethical considerations around AI.
Okay.
So we talked to Rajeev Bukralia, professor at Minnesota State Mankato,
Okay.
and he's a leading voice in this area.
Interesting.
And he really broke down the concept of explainable AI or XAI.
Yeah.
And he talked about the importance of transparency, especially in fields like healthcare and finance,
It makes sense.
where you've got, like, high-stakes decisions being made. You want to know how the AI is coming to those conclusions.
Absolutely.
And he also highlighted the importance of data quality in AI.
Okay.
He had a great analogy. He said, if you think of a large language model as like a Lamborghini, it might be a really powerful engine, but if you don't have the right fuel and you don't have the right infrastructure,
Right.
it's not going to perform.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy.
And he was really making a case for CIOs to really invest in data management,
Yeah.
to really be able to, like, unleash the power
Yeah.
of AI.
Makes sense.
And then he also talked about custom GPTs, which is kind of a fascinating area.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, imagine a chatbot that understands the nuances of your specific business.
Oh, wow.
That's the kind of, like, personalized experience that AI can deliver.
Interesting.
Okay. So let's talk about someone who's on the front lines of AI strategy, Tim Bornhold.
Okay.
He's all about practical applications.
Cool.
So he had a really interesting perspective on how AI is changing the landscape of work.
Huh.
And he believes that jobs that require empathy, creativity, what he calls those uniquely human soft skills, those are going to become even more valuable.
Right.
He shared a great quote. He said, "Jobs of the past valued strength. Jobs of the present value brains. And jobs of the future will value our heart."
Oh, wow. That's a great quote.
That's from the president of Columbia University, actually.
Oh, very interesting.
But it really resonated with me because it's like, it's suggesting that AI might be shifting our focus away from purely technical skills
Yeah.
and more towards those human qualities
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
really hard to replicate.
Makes sense.
And speaking of technical skills, Tim was also talking about how AI is really democratizing software development. He actually talked about how he built an app using ChatGPT.
Oh, cool.
And it's significantly sped up the process. So, it's amazing to think that now, like, people who don't have extensive coding knowledge
Yeah.
can actually bring their ideas to life.
That's powerful.
And then he also shared a story about using AI to analyze health insurance plans,
Okay.
which is something I think we can all relate to.
Sure.
Like, who
Yeah.
really understands their health insurance plan?
Right.
But he was able to get a much clearer understanding by just feeding all that information into ChatGPT.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's like, AI can really help us make more informed decisions.
It can cut through the noise.
Exactly.
Wow.
He also talked about the importance of prompt engineering,
Oh, okay.
which is basically like learning how to talk to AI effectively to get the best results.
Yeah.
So he was saying, like, don't just tell the AI what to do.
Okay.
Ask it questions. Frame it as a conversation
Interesting.
instead of a, like, search query.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like a collaboration.
Exactly. And just like Lori, he's a big advocate for just experimenting and playing around with these tools.
Makes sense.
He said, continually be curious, continually be learning, get your hands dirty and play with these things.
Words to live by.
Yeah, for sure. We've covered a lot of ground here, but we've got a lot more to explore. We'll be back shortly to continue our deep dive into the world of AI.
Looking forward to it. It's really interesting how all these different guests are approaching AI from all these different angles,
Yeah.
but they all seem excited about the possibilities.
Yeah, and like Tim in particular had some some really thought-provoking ideas about like the evolution of technology.
Okay.
He was comparing the rise of AI to like the advent of the internet
Yeah.
and mobile phones.
Yeah.
You know how those paradigm shifts like really changed the way we live and work?
Absolutely.
And he was saying like, those all came with their own challenges, and AI is no different.
Right.
Like we need to be aware of the potential downsides, but also be embracing those opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, how do we balance those two?
Right.
He actually told this funny story about how he used DALL-E, which is the AI image generator,
Art.
to create this picture of a mermaid doing dishes for her son.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, sounds like something straight out of like a children's book.
Yeah.
But it does raise some interesting questions about like, what is creativity in the age of AI?
Right.
We were talking about like, is AI going to replace artists?
Yeah.
And Tim's view is that like true artistry goes beyond what a computer can currently do.
Okay.
There's something about human emotion and experience and perspective
Right.
that AI just hasn't quite captured.
Yeah.
So he sees AI as like more of a tool for artists,
Yeah.
not a replacement.
Right.
It can handle those technical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, that frees up human creativity to focus on more of the conceptual and emotional elements.
Interesting.
It's like a collaboration,
Right. Yeah.
not a competition.
I like that.
And I think like one of the key takeaways from all these conversations is just like AI is evolving so fast.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like mind-boggling,
Yeah.
What seems like science fiction today could be reality tomorrow.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to stay curious and keep learning.
Absolutely.
Tim was encouraging listeners to like find those little niches that help you explain how to fit these tools into whatever profession or hobby you're trying to improve on.
Right.
So it's all about finding those practical applications, like what resonates with you.
Exactly.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all this AI talk, just like start small, ask questions.
Yeah.
Let your curiosity guide you.
And if you are looking for resources or you want to find a community, I think the Applied AI nonprofit at appliedai.m is a great place to start.
It's a great resource. They have a lot of events, workshops,
They do, yeah.
a whole community of people that are really passionate about AI.
It's a good place to connect and learn.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And a huge shout out to our sponsors, Lab 651 and Recursive Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
They're making this deep dive possible.
They are, yeah.
So, before we move on, like, let's take a moment and just like think about what we've learned so far. We've heard from experts in social services, education, entrepreneurship, ethics, strategy. Like, they've all shed light on different aspects of AI.
That's true.
We've explored the potential of AI to empower individuals, make systems more efficient, even enhance our own creativity.
Yeah.
But we've also, we've acknowledged those challenges.
Right.
The importance of responsible development and, those ethical considerations.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I think the main takeaway for me is, AI is not just a technology.
Yeah.
It's like this force that's shaping the world in really profound ways.
Right. What stands out to you from all these conversations? What are you curious about? We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our deep dive into AI at the edge and beyond.
It really is amazing to think about all the different ways that AI is already impacting our lives.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Even in ways that, we probably don't even realize.
Absolutely.
It's kind of it's the undercurrent of so much these days. But, the thing that really gets me is, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happens as AI continues to evolve?
Right.
How is it going to shape the future of, society?
Yeah, it's the million-dollar question.
It really is.
And all of the guests that we've heard from have grappled with that in some way.
For sure.
We heard about the potential of AI to solve these global challenges like climate change and disease.
Yeah, it's like we could automate the mundane tasks, make systems more efficient, maybe help us make better decisions.
Right.
But at the same time, there's that flip side, right?
Right. There's always a flip side.
Like, what about job displacement? Potential biases?
Yeah.
AI being used for harmful purposes.
For sure. For sure.
It's that double-edged sword.
Which is why I think it's so important to talk about responsible AI. This isn't just about developing cool technology. It's about making sure that AI is used ethically and that it benefits everyone.
Yeah, building systems that are fair and transparent.
Right, exactly.
Accountable. And, that's going to take a conscious effort from all of us, right?
It will.
Developers, policymakers, even everyday users like us.
Absolutely. We all need to be having these conversations about AI and working together to create a future where AI is a force for good.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in, You've heard these amazing insights, and now it's time to take all that knowledge and do something with it.
Ask yourself, what problem are you going to solve using AI?
Exactly.
Maybe you'll be inspired by John Stanton. You'll find ways to make those essential services more accessible.
Right.
Or maybe you'll dive into the world of distributed learning like Kevin Liu.
Or maybe you're going to be the next Lori Ryan using AI to launch your business.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to be a tech whiz to get started. There's so many resources available.
Yeah, for sure.
The Applied AI nonprofit, appliedai.mm.
Great resource.
Yeah, go check them out. They've got events, workshops, a whole community of people.
Yeah, they do.
That are passionate about AI. It's a great place to, get connected and learn.
It is.
And, of course, huge thanks to our sponsors, Lab 651 and Recursive Awesome.
Yes, thank you so much to our sponsors.
We couldn't do it without them.
We could not.
All right, so as we wrap up, let's leave you with this. Stay curious, stay engaged.
Keep learning.
And never stop learning. The world of AI is constantly evolving. And it's really up to all of us to shape its trajectory.
It is, yeah.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that spark of wonder alive.